So I'm going to start off this video by saying that it is extremely unlikely that this is legit, okay? I'm putting it out there right off the top, so no one's going to get mad at me for clickbaiting. I'm not trying to do that, but I want to discuss it because this whole situation with the next Nintendo console is really getting out of hand, and also the idea of what this could be if by some chance it is legit, or at least you know, in the same vein, right? It could be fake, but maybe what I mean by the same vein is like it could be something that is actually ironically legit behind the scenes, even though it's, you know what I mean? You know how like sometimes people come up with stuff and then, you know, the real thing gets revealed and it wasn't too far off. Sometimes it's way off, but you know, one of those things. So we've been talking a lot about the next Nintendo console, whatever that's going to be. We talked, I think it was yesterday, about the fact that there's, you know, apparently the next console's dev kit out in the wild in Spain and who knows where else. Again, all of these are rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. And it's likely that what I'm about to show you guys was created with the whole inspect element, you know, option rather on like Google Chrome or something. So that is very likely, or just a Photoshop. That's very possible as well. But it did get me thinking. It did get me thinking. And so I want to, for the sake of discussion, I want to use it for that. All right, so let me throw it up on screen right now. This was coming from the FAMI boards, and basically it was showing that apparently under the developer support section on Nintendo's kind of developer side of things, right? So this is not something typically, I guess, you know, normal people would have access to anyways to really double check and authenticate this. It has the NX2 listed above the Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Cons. Now, if you don't know, the Nintendo Switch was once codenamed the NX, right? Before the Nintendo Switch actually was revealed and all that. Just kind of like how, what was it? GameCube was codenamed Dolphin or whatever, and so on and so forth. So there's code names, right? That obviously they have for these things before they officially name it and all that good stuff. Now, it did get me thinking that although this is likely to be fake, if there was an NX2, let's say that was something that is legit, and you know, maybe there is a you know, small chance somewhere in the world that this is actually legit somehow. It's possible. It's unlikely, but it's possible. Now, what if that is true? Well, then would it just be like a whole new iteration of the Nintendo Switch? How would that work, right? I mean, if you look at, like, for example, the NES and the Super NES, right? If you look at the controllers, for example, you went from a very similar controllers, right? You went from the more of a rectangle to like more of an oval, but the buttons were very similar, right? We added, I guess, like 2 more buttons, technically speaking, but still, the idea was close, right? And although they weren't, you know, compatible with each other, it kind of got me thinking, what if, right? What if, kind of like how Xbox with the Xbox One, and now the Xbox Series X and S, they're new consoles, although they don't really, to be fair, they don't really feel like new consoles. They just feel like a more powerful Xbox One, technically speaking, but they look different. But you could use the same controller. Plus, they did make new controllers that were slightly different. You know, they had, you know, a little bit better, you know, grips and handles, and they had an extra share button on it on the new Xbox controllers. But they were all compatible with each other. So what if Nintendo did something like that, where the next console is compatible with all the accessories from the Nintendo Switch, all the games, backwards compatible, like literally to everything, to the games, to the accessories, to everything. But it is a new console. It's more powerful. It's brand new. It is different somehow. I don't know how it would be different, but it's different somehow. Is that possible? Maybe, probably, could be, not probably. Let's drop that word. Not probably. Could be, possibly. Okay, those are better words. But I don't see that happening. I don't see Nintendo doing that because Nintendo always likes to reimagine themselves, right? Look at every single console that's come out. Now, you could argue that, you know, we go from the DS to the 3DS, and those are technically 2 different consoles, or the Game Boy to like the Game Boy Advance, you know, and again, those are 2 different consoles, but at the same time, they were similar to each other, and, you know, they were backwards compatible with each other. So there is that to keep into consideration. Could they pull off something like that, where it is very similar to its predecessor, which would be the Nintendo Switch, but at the same time, it is also completely new, right? Like the 3DS, although it was very DS-like, right? It still had DS in the name. It was also very, very different in many ways, and very new in many ways, more powerful. different things like that. So could they pull something like that? Possibly. I think that is a possibility, but only time will tell. Like I said, I think this is probably fake, but you know, I thought it was an interesting thing to discuss nonetheless, and to just kind of speculate and think, hey, what could this next thing be? What would you guys want it to be? Do you want it to be an entire brand new thing? I mean, obviously we all want backwards compatibility, but do you want it to be a completely brand new thing? Or do you want it to be kind of like, you know, what the DS, you know, going from the DS to the 3DS was, right? Where it's still very, very, very similar, but it's also new enough where it's different. It's also, you know, there's a lot of new iterations, it's more powerful, there's new features. You know, would you want something like that, or something completely new, which again goes from like, you know, the GameCube to the Wii, or the Wii to the Wii U? Well, the Wii to the Wii U was a little closer, but it was still very, very different. Or the Wii U to the Switch. You know, what would you guys like to see? Let me know in the comments below, and whenever we get official word from Nintendo, which hopefully is sooner than later, I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. So keep it locked on the channel, subscribe for more Nintendo content, and I'll see you guys soon in another one. Tell them, friends, game on, and thanks for watching.